Hi, my name is Buxton. Welcome to this series. I would like us to make a revisit of what we had covered concerning the Centerline. If you are new to this channel is concerned about teaching you construction skills, especially when surveying. This is where you learn the real marketable skills that you need to practice anywhere in the world. So it covers the tutoring of quant surveying, right from domestic and as well the international in regard to various rules that are applicable for quant surveying. And if you are a returning member, thank you so much. For the new ones, please, I'm sure that after watching this video, you will find it purposeful to make a subscription to it. So let's get to work. Welcome. Today I would like us to revisit what we had covered concerning the calculation of Centerline. And the reason that makes Centerline to be so imperative to us is this. Centerline is the mean girth that is going to allow you to calculate various items in regard to the rules which are applicable for the standard methods of measurements. The rule needs you that you measure the items, for instance the walling, or as well even calculations for the volume of excavation for the trenches, that you do it net. That would mean that you do it exactly what is required for the excavation at that particular time, and also what is required for calculation of the areas for the walls. For that reason, you will need what we call the mean girth, or the mean length, and that is why calculation and getting it right for the Centerline is so important. And we had given one way, that is what we discussed in our previous session, which I'll also attach on this description for this video, so that you are able to make a reference to it as well, so that if at all you are joining us now for the first time, you can just go to my description and be able to retrieve the first method of calculation of the Centerline, which we had discussed. For now, we'll go to one that is called the rule of distance moved to calculate the Centerline for our plan. Presented on your screen is a typical plan that we've been working with, and I would also just add that we also continue to work with it. And the reason I designed this kind of plan is because this plan, it's not obvious. It's not a perfect rectangle, as maybe you might find in other descriptions for other channels as well. This one is it has got what we call the recesses, what I'm presenting. So it's not a perfect shape, which might give you even more trouble. So when you are able to understand this description or this explanation, then you are in a better position to understand even now a more simpler ones moving forward. So when you talk about Centerline, it's the line that is cutting exactly at the mean or at the center of what you have as the plan. This plan is in regard to what the section of this foundation, this plan or that particular point should be coming through the center. So the wall that is represented is here, the foundation wall, but then the line that we need for the center line should be coming through the center of this particular wall. So that is the length that we need. Okay, so once you know that, then we move forward and calculate now that particular mean girth. So using the rule of distance moved, this is how you need to approach that particular item, or rather that how you need to work on that center line in this case. So I just want you to look through and follow. Yes, talking of which, the rule that I've mentioned, the rule of distance moved, I would like us to see how it's supposed to be applicable in calculation of the center line for this particular plan that we have. And it means in this case, what is available is, you realize that the way the dimensions have been given, the way the dimensions have been given, they have been given at the internal or from the internal part. You can see there is a 10,800. Okay, and then when you add complete to this the end of it, then there is also a different dimension given for the walls, which are the 200 in this case. So the 200 plus the rest of the dimensions, which are also given within this particular drawing. So what we need is this. The rule of distance moved shows that at every particular point there is a distance moved by half, so that you move towards the center of that particular line. That is basically how that what that rule is talking about. So you realize that at this, for example, within this center, within the part that the arrow is pointing, there is going to be that particular thickness, wall thickness into two halves. Okay, into two halves. So that is basically what that rule means. So that when you are from the inside, when you are using the dimensions from the inside, then you will need to move outside by half. But when you are using the dimensions from the external faces of the wall, then you will be needed to move towards the inside half 2 times at every particular corner. So you basically get the whole perimeter, and then you will now take, regardless of the thickness of the wall that you are using, you will now take it half times 2, because the reason is when you are referring to the dimension to the lower part, the lower dimension, just want to show you that as well. When, for instance, you are using the dimensions to the lower dimension, or the lower part, that is not what I needed. The lower dimension, I mean this one at this point. Okay, when you're using the lower dimension, then this is the lower dimension. Then it means you are going to take the length up to the internal point, and then after that, then you add half of that wall, so that gives you the first half at that one corner. Okay, then when you use the one to the one that is indicated 11, then you use the 11, and then you will also need to add half from that particular to that particular 11. So it means on every corner you are going to be considering addition of half of that wall times 2. Okay, so on every corner you are going to be adding half of the wall times 2, in regard to us using the internal dimensions in this case, because the internal dimension 1 is ending at that point. Okay, but then when you check keenly, you are going to add half at this corner. That is the one that you are using for the 11. But when you get to the lower part, you are also going to add another. The dimension that is given is ending here, and then you are also needed to add the half at that particular point. So in this particular plan, the basic way that we use or adopt to calculate the center line is by adopting the formula of calculating a perimeter as if it were a perfect rectangle. The formula is 2 into length plus width, and then we will add the recesses. Okay, so after adding the recesses, then when we'll be using the perimeter, the external perimeter, then we'll now subtract. We'll now need to less using the rule that we've discussed. We'll now just less half. Okay, that is half, half times the thickness of these walls that we have. You just check from this particular plan, it's 200. Okay, so that is 0.2, okay, times 2 on every corner, and then we'll also multiply it by 4 corners. So this is the formula that is going to give you that particular center line. Okay, so this is a center line. Center line is therefore equals to the perimeter, which is 2 into length plus width, and then you add the recesses, and then you subtract now half times 0.2, which is the thickness of the wall, times 2 on every corner. On every corner we are going to be considering the half of the wall twice. Okay, and then you multiply by 4 corners, because at the end of the day, all these calculations that we are doing, the shape, regardless of the shape of that particular plan, it's going to boil down to a perfect 4 rectangle, or every unit is adopting that particular design of the perfect 4 rectangular design. So this is the formula that we need to adopt so that we get what we are talking about. So center line is equals to center line is equals to 2 into length. Let's calculate the length. Okay, we can first get these dimensions complete, and then we'll adopt the formula once we have calculated all those dimensions. So we talk about the length. Length will adopt 0.20. Okay, it's better we put this on here, 0.20, and then we add 10.80, and then we add 0.20, then we add 5.60, and then to the end is 0.20. Okay, so when we add these, it should be able to give us what we need in terms of the length alone. Okay, so we'll add that. That should give us 11.2. 11.2, that is 16.8. This is going to give us 17. Okay, yes, so this should give us 17.00 as the length of this particular plan. Okay, so once we have the length, then we move on and calculate the width, as we are edging towards adoption of the formula that we have just given here. So let's calculate the width. How do we go about the width? So for the width, we just take the full the width of the longer side, because we've said that for this particular plan, the assumption is we are using it, or we are doing it in a way that the particular plan is considered to be full. Okay, so if at all I were just to draw for this, let me just draw. So in just at the back of your mind, then it will be assumption. So at the back of your mind, you will consider this particular part to be in existence. Okay, to be in existence, and then or we can rather use the pencil here, so that you have dotted lines giving you the full view of what you need here. So these imaginary dotted lines is giving you how this plan is supposed to be completed at these particular areas. Okay, so this is now what you have in your mind, because for instance, when you take this particular part, upwards, it's supposed to fill that point. And then when you take this part that I'm pointing at towards towards the end, or towards this point, it should also complete at that part. And then we are going to add the recesses, just the formula is stating. Okay, so when you do that, we calculate the width now. The width for the longer part, it will be 0.2, and then we add 11.00, and then we add also 0.20. So when you do that, we are supposed to get a total of 11.4. okay, that should give us 11.40. okay, so that is what we have in terms of the length and the width. Yes, so moving on, for us to get our center line that we are talking about today, we've already calculated the length and the width based on the external faces of this particular plan. Okay, so we move on. Now we input the items that are missing in our formula to find out the center line for this particular plan. So how do we go about that now? Center line, we had discussed that the formula is this, so we'll just have 2 into bracket, or rather you can say 2 times into bracket. The length we have is 17.00, and then we add 11.40, that is just above there. Okay, that will give us the external perimeter, and then we'll now add the recesses for this particular part is this. The recesses are when adding the recesses, consider to add it to the top part up to this point. So we'll because all the dimensions we are taking to the external faces of the walls, so we'll add 3.6 which is here, okay, and then 0.2 which is here, so that it's complete from the top to this particular point. So it's 3.6 then plus 0.2. okay, 3.60, and then we add 0.20. okay, so this is what we have, and then we multiply this times 2 because the recesses are 2. We have 1 here, and then we have 1 at that particular point. So being that there are 2, we also reflect that in our calculation. Okay, and then when we do that, then we now subtract what we call the distance moved, so that we adjust the total perimeter into the mean girth that we are calculating. So the 2 times what we have here, and then we now less or subtract. Then we less now 0.5, or rather you can just say 0.5, which is the half, and then you multiply by. So what we're doing here is the adjustment for the center line. The first formula is going to give us the total perimeter on the external face of that wall. Okay, but remembering that the rule requires that we get the mean or the center line or the mean girth, then we need to adjust that. So that is what we are doing by multiplying half, or rather this is plus 0.2 times 2. Okay, this is supposed not to be there. Then we are lessing 0.5 times 0.2 is the total thickness of the wall, and then we multiply by 2 because on every corner you are going to be adjusting twice. Okay, for a length that are moving vertically, or the longitudinal and the latitudinal dimensions are supposed to be done twice. So you do one represent for one longitudinal dimension, and then another one represent for one latitudinal dimension. So 0.5 is the half times 0.2 times 2, then times 4. because the assumption is that we are now doing it for a perfect four-sided plan, that is a rectangle in that case. So this one is supposed to give us the center line. So let's make our calculation and see. So when you carry out that calculation, you are supposed to get 63.60. Okay, 63.60 as the center line for this particular length of plan that we are given. So it's as simple as we've discussed. That is a simple step of how to calculate center line for a plan that is not perfect, a plan that is having recesses and so on. So if you are wondering to get to the harder part, it's not there, because it's very straightforward and it's very simple, as we've explained, using the rule of distance moved. So that brings us to the end of our session for today. That what we are supposed to cover. We will just recap based on the request that I've got in terms of how to modify or how to make the calculation of the center line even simpler. And I've just got your request, and now we have a very simple way of calculating center line for this particular plan. So as we end, I would urge you to please make a subscription to the channel, so that as we upload more videos, it gets you immediately and you keep watching. Those who have done so, thank you very much. Alongside these videos, I also offer additional services that you can always get from my channel description. In case you need private sessions, private tutoring on what we are doing, what we are covering, you are always free to do so. Just reach out. I will organize a session at your convenient time, and then we meet and have a discussion where you will benefit so much. And yes, apart from that, other services like bills of quantities and so on, consultancy in surveying, just don't hesitate to reach out, so that we make some very good business relationship and move forward at the benefit of both of us and all of you at large. So have a good time until we meet again for our next session, where we are supposed to now make a completion of calculation of the length, and then we now go forward to do what we call now the trench excavation, as the sessions are moving on and on. So thank you very much, and I would like you to keep in touch moving forward. Thank you. Bye bye.